In the last episode of the Great British Bake Off, our bakers had to tackle chocolate. Now, I'm not in my kitchen this week and therefore I can't temper chocolate with you, but I am in Switzerland, which is not only the land of precision watches, but also the land of precision chocolate. I'm surrounded by delicious bars and boxes of chocolate, each of which tells a story about the need for precision that can also tell us something useful about artificial intelligence. So if I take this delicious bar of dark chocolate from Villars, where I'm staying in Switzerland, in order for it to have the snap and the gloss, it has to have been tempered very precisely. It needs to have been heated to between 45 and 50 degrees centigrade to melt the crystals in the cocoa. It then needs to be cooled to 27 degrees centigrade to start the crystallization process, and then warmed to 31 to 32 degrees centigrade, at which point it can be worked. And that's because this is dark chocolate. It's different from milk chocolate and for white chocolate. Now, we also need to store our chocolate properly. With this beautiful box of chocolates I've been given, I get not only the menu of the different chocolates that I can choose to eat, but also my storage instructions that tell me very carefully that I need to store this between 18 and 20 degrees centigrade. Now, we've all had the experience where we've left some chocolate out in the warm and it's become white and spoilt, or it might become soft and lose its shine and its sheen, because not only is precision important when we're making the chocolate, it's also important that we store the chocolate, that we create the right context for it. And this is true for our artificial intelligence systems too. Not only do we need to be precise when we build them, but we also need to make sure that the context into which they're introduced is appropriate and is correct and kept in the right state. Welcome to Rose's AI, the place where we learn about artificial intelligence through baking. Now, so far, we've looked at the vital ingredients that make up all machine learning: the data, the algorithms, and the processing power. We've learnt about a particular sort of algorithm, a neural network, through looking at Victoria sandwiches. We've learnt about how we need to be careful and it takes time for our AI systems to learn when we looked at sourdough. We've also looked at patterns in data and how important they are for our AI systems when we looked at those gingerbread cookies. And so with chocolate, we're looking at the need for precision. But not just precision when we are creating our AI systems, but also precision in the way that we maintain our AI systems. They have a fragility all of their own, just like chocolate. Now look at our beautiful dark chocolate here from Villars in Switzerland. You can see it's glossy, it's got a lovely printed flower on it. And if I break it, it snaps. And that's because it's been perfectly tempered. There's been precision in the way that it has been made. The cocoa butter crystals have formed into what's called form 5. Now, there are 6 forms of cocoa butter in chocolate tempering, and you have to get it to the right temperature precisely in order to get that form 5. So 1 and 2, it's too soft and crumbly. 3 and 4, it's not quite that snap that we just heard. 5, it's glossy and you get that snap. 6, it becomes chalky. Now, it's the hardest to achieve, form 5, and that's what we have to achieve. And it's just like with our AI networks. We have to get them to the right state. We have to be precise. We can have the same data, the same algorithm, and go through the same training processes, but the network might settle differently. The configuration might be different. The weights might be different. The parameters might be different. We have to make sure we get it to the perfect state by being precise. And we need to recognise that that perfect state is fragile, just as it is with the chocolate. We only want the form 5 with the chocolate, and we only want the right state with our AI algorithms and our AI systems. So we might have millions of possible configurations of our AI model, but only some will work. So we may have millions of different possible configurations for our AI system, but only a few that work for our purposes, just the same as with chocolate. So dark chocolate requires a temperature of 31 to 32 degrees for us to work it. Milk chocolate, it's a degree different. It's 29 to 30. And white chocolate, a degree different again, 28 to 29. And that precision is really important. And it's the same with our AI models, with our AI systems. A facial recognition system that's trained on images of people taken indoors has a particular sort of setting, a particular configuration, a particular temperature, if you like. And if we take it outdoors, it may well not work. Just as with my chocolate, if I store it properly between 18 and 20 degrees, it will keep the gloss, it will keep the snap. But if I put it in my backpack and I leave it next to the radiator, it won't. It will become soft and crumbly, and it won't be the beautiful, glossy, snappy chocolate that we want. So perfection is fragile. Perfection is hard to build. And we need to make sure that we understand why precision is essential when we're building our AI systems, but also why that precision is fragile. So the chocolate that I stored near the radiator in my rucksack is in the wrong form. The crystals are in the wrong form. And this can happen with our AI systems. They can drift. It's still the same algorithm. It's still the same training, but the internal state has shifted. Let me show you something interesting. I could take a picture of this chocolate. Say I can do it with my phone. Let's have a look. Let's take a picture of the chocolate. Now, if I alter this picture by maybe just 1 or 2 pixels and then show it to an AI system, that AI system may think it's a brown bear or some wood panelling, not chocolate. That tiny difference that may not be visible to us can make a difference to the AI system. And it's not exactly that the AI system's broken. It's just, if you like, in the wrong crystal form for our needs. One thing I've learnt as I've been looking into chocolate, and you can see it on the writing on some of the packaging for good quality chocolate, is that you don't start from scratch. You start when you're making a fresh batch of chocolate with chocolate that's already been tempered to precisely the right point. And it's the same with our AI systems. The AI systems we're using now have been built up over time and seeded with earlier versions of that system that worked well. So just as the Swiss chocolatiers have precision chocolate equipment that holds the chocolate to exactly the right temperature and they store it at exactly the right temperature, precision is essential in AI as in chocolate. So what can lovely Swiss chocolate teach us about artificial intelligence? Well, it can teach us quite a bit actually. It can teach us that we need to test our AI in the environment that we're going to use it. In the same way that if I store the chocolate in my bag near a radiator, I don't end up with my beautiful glossy snappy chocolate. The second thing is that we need to document the exact conditions in which we know our AI can be built and maintained appropriately, just as the Swiss chocolatiers have documented and built equipment to maintain precisely the right conditions for the chocolate that they're making. Thirdly, we use existing excellence. Just as when making chocolate, we use existing perfectly tempered chocolate as we make fresh chocolate, with our AI systems we use existing models as we build better models. We don't always start from scratch. And lastly, we need to remember that we should respect the fragility of our chocolate and indeed our AI systems. Precision is important in the way that we build them and in the way that we maintain them. So Switzerland teaches us that precision brings perfection, but the perfection is fragile. This beautiful chocolate's 150 years in the making, 150 years of precision engineering, perfect temperature control, precise crystallization, perfect transfer of knowledge from generation to generation to ensure that the perfection in chocolate making continues. One train ride in my warm rucksack and that perfection is broken. And our AI models are the same. Perfectly trained, precisely tuned, impressively capable, but a change in the environment and perfection can be lost. I'm Rose Luckin. This is Rose's AI from the beautiful Swiss Alps, where we learn that the best things in life, chocolate, AI, watches, require precision, patience, and respect for the fact that perfection is fragile and can be easily lost.